Voices of the Void appreciates you, gives you agency and trusts you will figure things out yourself. It drops you in its world and says, hey, go do stuff. This game makes you feel like you're the king of the world, and in the next moment you're stumbling in the dark trying to find your way home. There is so much to do, so much. In this small open world there is a ton to explore. 60 hours into the game and I was still finding completely new places, even in my own base. The game is undeniably horror, but it's so much more than that. It's sandbox, it's resource management, it's The Sims, it's spooky. Whenever I discover something in the game, or how something works, or whatever it may be, it feels so fulfilling. The game trusts me to make discoveries myself and doesn't hold my hand all the time. After the tutorial, when you first load into the map, you're just dropped into the world and told, go do your thing. The game trusts me to have fun and enjoy what it has to offer, and I love that. It gave me the same feeling as when I first played Minecraft over a decade ago, back in alpha. I would just experiment in the world and figure things out myself. This is all besides the main gameplay loop, which is equally addicting. Take this for instance. There are hundreds of different items in the shop, most of which you can only get through this computer. Completing your daily tasks gives you money. This is the driving force that keeps you coming back to the main loop, without the game ever forcing you to complete your daily tasks. The game has convinced me to convince myself to partake in the main gameplay loop. Not because I have to, but because I want to. The game is spooky. You will get spooked. But there are never any cheap jump scares. The game builds on the tension of you never knowing what will happen. It lets you get comfortable, to build a routine, only to pull the rug under you when the least expect it. When you're in your base and you go, I didn't lock this door. It always feels like the game has some extra trick up its sleeve, and each time you try to adapt. Then, when you think you know it all and that you've put yourself in a safe situation, a door opens. If you've ever talked to a fan of the Outer Wilds, they will insist on you going in completely blind to explore the game yourself, and that everything you learn about the game beforehand is to rob yourself of each discovery. To some extent, I feel this applies to Voices of the Void as well. Not to the same extent, but the scary elements are not as scary once you learn of their existence. It's the uncertainty that really sells the horror. Similarly, to figure out how certain things work is part of the experience, and learning things from this video will ultimately not give you the same satisfaction or even possibility to discover it yourself. The Discord community is very strict where you're allowed to talk about spoilers, and I agree with the rules. The game is worth discovering yourself. In this video, I'll be talking about the game in a way to give a truthful view of what to expect without giving away major spoilers or main events. I'm hoping you'll get intrigued by what I have to say, and when you play the game, you'll still be surprised and scared shitless. With that said, this video contains light spoilers for some parts of the game. Let me shine some light on what I mean by the game being so much more than horror, and why I feel the game gives me agency. One of the items you can buy in the store is called a digital camera. The only thing it does is snapping a photo, which you can later view on your computer. That's all. There is no gameplay use for it other than keeping a memory for yourself. The camera became one of my must-haves in my inventory, for reasons that go outside of the gameplay loop. Let me explain. In-game events happen. I won't spoil what, but when you go to the pause screen, it doesn't pause the game and you can't save. You just stand still while the game moves on. Meaning that when an event happens, you have to survive through it in its entirety, or else you lose all progress since the last save. This brings up the tension a lot. Suddenly, every misstep could cost you tons of progress and you'll end up clenching your teeth trying to survive. Afterwards, it feels like I've managed to survive something extreme, and the proof that I did is right here. These photos look exactly what I imagine some early 2000s creepy sightings photo would look like. Another example of the game being more than horror is and welcome to Vladerino's cooking show, where we'll be making the finest pepperoni pizza from the greatest of the ingredients. Before anything, we preheat the oven to some warm temperature. There is no pepperoni pizza without the main ingredient, so let's start with that. Chip chop. And a little massage later, look at what we have. For this recipe, we only need 2 of these. I've got some cheese in the fridge, so let's cut it up into some smaller pieces. Ah, perfect. I recommend only 3 cubes. For the sweet tomato sauce, I've pre-washed the ripest tomato in town. No pizza without bread. Let's make our own. And with the rolling pin, gently flatten the bread. Now it's time to put it all together. And 1 cheese, 2 cheese, 1 tomato, 3 cheese, and sausage 1, and sausage 2. Voila! Here we have our pizza. Now it just needs to cook. To save us some time, I've already prepared the pizza beforehand. Enjoy! There are these small details in the game which really just sells it for me. When you eat a banana, you just drop the peel on the ground. When you drink a coffee or 2 or 7, you get shaky. The more you drink, the more you shake, which makes using screens a challenge. But one of the best feeling things in the game are open containers. With this crate, you can take your small items and just drop them inside, and they get stuck. It feels amazing to pick up the crate and move them around, and when you turn it around, the stuff just falls out. Something that will probably catch you by surprise is this. The first time it happened to me, I first pooped my pants and then I laughed really hard. When you're hurt, your vision has this blur effect, which I think is one of the best being hurt animations I've seen in a game. There are tons of these small things throughout the entire game, which I absolutely love. I want to show you what really made me fall in love with this game last summer. It has to do with the ATV, but to properly show you, I need to take you back to the previous game version. A lot has changed, and the ATV was very primitive back then. It was what it was, and there was no way to upgrade it per se. Anyways, back then, before I knew my way around the map, I would use the digital map to get around. But while driving, whenever I got lost, I would hop off my ATV, look at the map, and then continue driving. Not very optimal. However, I found something out myself through pure experimentation. The game has nails, which you can use to hold stuff together. So what if I could just nail the map to the ATV? Let me give you the Vlad way to upgrade your ATV. First, take a lid and some rubber trash in this arrangement. Then gently place the map a bit tilted and also sticking out on the side. Put in a few nails to connect the lid, the roll and the map. Keep the last nail on the side. Put the contraption on the ATV and try to align it decently. Once you're happy, nail the map to the ATV. Then remove the lid and the roll, keeping the map half floating in the air. Finally, add some more nails to strengthen it all. Voila! And it doesn't stop there. Find something cool on the way? You can add that too. Need some more lights? You know it. What else? A clock, a Geiger counter, more storage, the list just goes on. And the only thing that decides that is you. This is genuinely where I felt the game was something else, and I had found a way, completely by myself, to expand on the game in the game itself, to make my life better. I can't tell you how much that meant for me. But of course, there were a few drawbacks. The reason why I would add some spacing underneath the map was because the map and the ATV would collide while driving and creating a scratching sound. And if you hit an obstacle at high speeds, your attached parts could sometimes fall off. In the most recent version of the game, they fixed this by creating dedicated upgrades, and the map turned into a fixed upgrade. I'm a bit unsure how I feel about that, but you can still put on whatever you want, so that feature is not completely lost. But to be honest, I don't really use the map on the ATV anymore. After living in this world for so long, I've learned where almost all the satellites and points of interest are. At best, I use the map in my base to mentally map out a route, but not much more. Going back to the having agency, it was never the game forcing me to learn the locations. It was me learning all the places, subconsciously. There are no waypoint markers. You have the signs, the map, and your mind. It's up to you to get to where you need to be. I feel like I'm becoming part of this world. It's rare a game can make me feel so invested into its world like that. I realize I never talked about the main gameplay loop. What's so weird about it is that on paper, the loop does not seem fun at all. But when I'm playing, I'm so hooked, and multiple times I've told myself that just a little more, then I'll go to bed, and then proceed to spend another hour or two playing. There are these tasks you need to do each day. Putting in these tapes and letting them record data. Physically going to satellite service and requesting some data onto a floppy. Getting signals from space. The last task, getting signals, is divided into 3 steps. Finding signals and calibrating satellites to it. Calibrate the right frequency and polarity so you can download it, and saving the signal and refining the data. At the end of the day, you have to send all that data off to HQ. All of this feels easy enough that almost every day I think I can get this over with in a few minutes or so. But there is always something else in the game that I want to do instead. The thing that makes it click is that the main gameplay loop allows you to experiment with and explore the world. And it's often that I find myself in a race against the clock to get today's tasks done on time. Each day looks completely different. Here's a non-exhaustive list of things you'll end up doing. Repair coordinate towers. Repair the radio tower. Fix your ATV. Fix your wheels. Recharge the battery. Check transformers. Fix transformers. Fix servers, clean the base, sleep, look at upgrades, buy upgrades, install upgrades, explore new areas, cook food, eat food, and always finding your own way to play the game. Oh.